It's time for the Game Show Fans Podcast with Josh and Danny. Hello, and welcome to still another episode of the Game Show Fans Podcast. I am your fearless leader, Josh McLeod.
I'm Danny Lewis.
X Factor Gaming here.
And introducing our new special guest for this episode,
Jan Voker.
Jan Voker! Yay! Thanks for coming on, Jan.
I guess you could say the Voker's wild.
But go to hell, Danny, for coming back on again.
Just stop, Danny.
Yeah, Jan has his own YouTube channel where he talks about things like mostly sports and the World Cup. So go subscribe to him. We'll put a link in the description.
As do I. Don't forget.
Well, actually, I got 2 channels. So I'll tell you about it later.
And here today we are going to discuss... what are we going to discuss? Oh yeah, Game Show Originals Part 2, a sequel to our intensely high-rated Game Show Network Originals Part 1. Here comes Game Show Network Originals Part 2.
That's right.
Part 2. We're French now.
Yeah, me and Josh did an episode of this all by ourselves like many years ago, and it has a lot of views. It's the most viewed episode of the podcast to this day. So,
yeah. Was that our first episode, or no? That was our second episode.
That was the second one.
Okay. It was most viewed because because you put up a picture of Chuck Woolery. People love Chuck Woolery. And if I'm not Chuck Woolery...
Chuck Woolery was good way back in the day, but now he's an asshole.
Speaking of Chuck Woolery, we don't want to hear about your vasectomies on Twitter, okay?
Yeah.
Damn, he's an asshole.
Anyway.
You don't want to hear about my vasectomy on Twitter? Okay, I guess not.
Okay.
Anyway, so who wants to go first? Who's going first, Danny? Normally we use the magic number generator, but I'm too lazy to pull it up on the Google Maps, so... I'm sure people are thrilled by our laziness. So
that's right. I think Josh, why don't you go first? You have the best.
Oh, cool! I get to talk about the best game show original of the past 10 years, The Chase. I mean, does anything come close?
Maybe the 2006 lingo.
Maybe not.
Of the past 10 years.
To me, Catch 21.
Okay, I guess that's one opinion. But The Chase. Who cares about all those shows? Right now we're talking about The Chase, everyone's favorite ITV game show, where 4 contestants try to outwit a very, very smart person.
Sounds like Jeopardy.
And so they did good. They brought over one of the original chasers from England to be the chaser on the American version.
Oh yeah.
Mark Labette, the Beast.
The Beast.
Mark Labette, the Beast.
Yeah.
And they got the fabulous host, Brooke Burns.
She was good.
Of Dog Eat Dog fame.
Good.
Dog Eat Dog, not a good show. Brooke Burns, very, very good. And a pretty.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of young men, I'm sure.
She's a hot babe.
I'm sure a lot of young men enjoyed her a lot. But regardless,
yeah.
So The Chase, yay, ITV show that came to America. And did really, really well, and then went off the air because they ran out of money. Damn you, money. They really blew their wad by giving away, several $100,000, having that be the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Well, again, you had a fallback in that you could afford to lose it, but again, unfortunately, I think they put all their eggs into one basket.
I think they made that mistake also with the divided and possibly Winsanity.
Yeah.
But the thing is that The Chase received some critical reception and some positive critical reception, and of course, both Brooke Burns and Mark Labette received some positive reviews for their roles. So
everyone loved it. I don't remember anybody saying it was not a good show.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah, I don't know why. I love that show. I used to watch it some of the times.
I had heard people say that they thought it was rigged, and at first I kind of agreed with it because nobody could beat the Beast.
The first episode, someone beats the Beast. They beat
the Beast. Yeah.
After that, though, it rarely...
I mean, it's tough. It's like for some people, it's, tough to, defeat the Beast.
That's because...
Especially when it comes to the final chase.
Yeah, the final chase was very nerve-wracking at some points, and Mark was...
Yeah, it was, gut-wrenching.
That was one of the few game shows I watched with my mom.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love my mom, and we watched stuff together, but, again, it was one of the few shows we both enjoyed. Did I tell you about when I showed her Treasure Hunt? I know this is a tangent.
Treasure Hunt?
No.
No, I told her that, and I showed her Treasure Hunt, and during the entire thing, she's like, "Did she win the cruise or not?" She hated the show.
I remember GSN showing Treasure Hunt at one point.
Yeah, I love Treasure Hunt, but my mom hated it. So.
Wait, was their version the new Treasure Hunt or the original one?
They showed the one with Jeff Edwards, the newer one. I think there's only a few.
Yeah, that's the new Treasure Hunt, I think.
There's only a couple episodes of the old. I think like 2 episodes of the original Treasure Hunt are in circulation.
It's a shame that there's not very many episodes left for that.
Yeah.
But one of the important things about the chase is that it had a very now famous Jeopardy champion James Holzhauer. He was on the chase.
Oh yeah.
2014 or 15.
I think I saw the clip of it.
Yeah, the clip is now famous on YouTube.
Game Show Network, once they realized they had him, they're like, we gotta point out, hey, we had him first.
Yeah.
We had him first. Remember?
And the funny part is they haven't asked him back to be on Best Ever Trivia Show yet. But then again, the show's still new.
I think you're only allowed to do so many game shows a year in.
And yet they brought in Ken Jennings for one of the first episodes.
Mm.
Yeah, but you're only allowed to do so many episodes of game shows per year legally.
Yeah, ask Cutler.
Yeah.
You can only do one show a year or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, The Chase was a very great show, wasn't it, Josh?
Yes, it was, and it died a very short. It's one of those shows where if they hadn't blown their budget, it probably could still be going because it was so big and so good and so popular. But I'm sure it wasn't cheap flying the beast out to to America to compete every time.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'd ever thought of of letting him do it via Skype or one of those.
No, you couldn't do that. That defeats the spirit of the show.
I mean, they did it on 1 vs. 100's reboot, which is also a GSN, which was also a GSN original.
Yeah.
And how did that, Danny? You say it, so I don't steal your thunder.
Actually, 1 vs. 100 was first originally on NBC.
The reboot was the GSN original.
Like the runs.
The reboot was the original, is what I'm saying.
No, it wasn't.
Pretty much.
But we're not talking about that reboot tonight, or we're not talking about that GSN original. So, yeah, I love The Chase. I'm pissed it's not on the air. Danny's pissed it's not on the air. Rich is pissed it's not on the air. Jan's pissed it's not on the air. Barry Gibb is pissed that it's not on the air.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando's ghost is pissed that it's not on the air. The members of Two Live Crew are pissed that it's not on the air.
That was random.
4 out of the Jackson 5 are pissed that it's not on the air.
We get the point. Alan Ledden is mad that it's not on the air.
What?
Since we were going random.
A tapeworm is pissed that it's not on the air.
Okay. You went up me with that one.
But, yeah.
Who's going next?
Anyway, I'll go next, Josh.
Okay.
We're going to talk about another show that was originally on ITV and made its way to Game Show Network. This show is called Divided. Now, this was on GSN from early 2017 to mid-2018. It's similar to Friend or Foe from viewers of our last episode. Basically, it starts off with a team of 4 contestants, and they answer all multiple-choice questions. Sometimes there are questions about polls, sometimes there are trivia questions, and sometimes they're just about random things. An example is, which of these subjects did people say they would be least likely to talk about openly with a stranger? A, their blessed religion. B, their credit card debt. C, health. So...
Hell or help?
Help.
Oh.
And the 4 people, they discuss, okay, we have to agree on one answer, what do we think it is? And the more time they take to agree on an answer, the less money they'll get for that question. And
I hated that part of the show.
Yeah, they do that for about 10, 15 minutes, and then they vote off one player. And then if there's a tie for that, then they have like 10 seconds or so to fight it out, and then as like before, they lose more money the more time they take to agree on something. So they do that, and then at the end of the show, there's 3 people, and then they decide they make with all the money that they have from all the questions, they have the choice to split it 3 different ways. A is one big amount of money usually, B is a small amount of money, and C is the lowest amount of money. And then they decide, okay, each of the guys have to make their own case as to why they deserve this amount of money for the most amount of money. So they'll argue about that. No, I was better than you. No, I was better than you.
Yeah.
And,
that whole show was kind of flawed.
Yeah, I've heard of that show, but I have not watched an episode.
I watched a lot of it. I thought it was a good show, personally, because I like seeing people argue. But
we actually did a version of that experiment in one of my college courses where we all put in money, and then it was divided between 3 different groups, and we had to debate about who gets which amount of money. We actually did that same thing. So it's
To
based
be
on
honest,
it's based on a pre-existing thing.
in all honesty, though, I felt that show was flawed. Basically, my main thing of it being flawed was what Josh or Danny said about the money going down the longer you took to answer that question. I hated that mechanic.
But that's the point. I guess it would have worked better if they'd only done that during like the
end.
Yeah, the end or the voting people off portion.
Well, that mechanic in the end, it worked out this way. And if you took too much time, like they had a certain limited amount of time to do it, and if the clock ran out, everyone would get no money. And that happens sometimes because people believe in themselves that much. They'd be like, no, if I can't get anything, neither of you deserve the money. And then people say like, oh, come on, it's just barely any money. And they're like, no, I'm not budging. And then the time ran out and everyone had zero and everyone was bad.
Yeah, so the game is like into like 3 parts in the gameplay there. So the first round consists of 3 questions, so as the second. But then the third, it contains 2.
The working title of the show was actually called Assholes. A lot of people don't know that.
Really?
What?
No, it was not. No, it was not called Assholes, but it should have been.
That's ridiculous.
Well, they were assholes on some of those.
There were about 200 other names you could have come up with that it should have been.
Anyway, the host of the U.S. version of Divided was Mike Richards, who also hosted the GSN version of Pyramid. We'll get into that in another episode, maybe. And at this time we're recording the podcast, a lot of people are excited that he's leaving The Price is Right.
And I'm one of the few minds that's like, you do realize they're going to hire someone exactly like him to take his place.
I'm indifferent. I could care less. I haven't seen a good Price is Right episode since college.
I'm with Rich on this one.
When were you in college?
From 2006 to 2013.
Okay, so when Bob Barker left, basically.
Yeah, once Drew showed up, I was like, I don't know if I care anymore.
Yeah,
I am Drew Carey. I'm just kind of
to be honest, I think Drew is doing like a good job.
That is boring for me. He just doesn't add anything. He's just sort of there.
It's the same thing with George Gray. Gray's a great host, but he's not cut out as an announcer.
What? That's ridiculous.
I don't really care about that. I'm kind of
Yeah, me neither.
He's fine. He's not a bad announcer. I don't hate him. I don't love him.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't love him, you don't hate him. Just get to the point. That's all.
He exists.
He exists.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's a better host. Although Weakest Link was his basically calling the syndicated Weakest Link was his calling card.
That's right.
In the future, we will do an episode about game show hosts who became game show announcers.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Sorry, Jack Norris. Anyway, anything else left to say about Divided?
Well, personally, I enjoyed the show. I don't think you guys did, though.
Well, you liked Friend or Foe, so...
That's true.
I mean, I like Friend or Foe, too.
Friend or Foe is actually really good.
Yeah. Again, it was so predictable just because I'm like, don't they pick Foe every freaking time? I know I would.
No, I did.
Either I get all the money or I get no money and spite you in the face of it. I'm not going to pick Friend.
I swear, I've only seen highlights of this via Cindy, but the Howie Mandel hosted show, what was it? All or Nothing? Take It All? It seemed like a ripoff of Friend or Foe.
That's because it was. Well, the Prisoner Dilemma existed before then. So, because again, we did a version of that in college too. And we lost because no one would listen to me because they were stupid. If you'd listened to me, we would have won.
I kind of want to see more of Take It All to see if it's actually any good.
Yeah, just try to like Take It All.
I don't know if there's any Danny, do you have any episodes of Take It All? I know I don't.
Yeah.
Chucky D might have
find some, but I'll try to get some in the future.
Okay.
Are there any on YouTube?
I don't think so.
I think there's some.
I checked, and all I could find was clips of Howie talking about it.
Yeah, just search for Divided Game.
No, Take It All.
Take It All.
Take It All? Oh.
Yeah, the only footage I've seen is footage of Howie talking about it.
Oh, what were his thoughts on it? Did he think it was trash?
I didn't watch them. I didn't really care to hear Howie Mandel try to defend the show.
I'm not sure he would have defended it.
Well, no, they do that anytime.
This is how we do it.
Because he produced it. He was pretty eager about it. It's just it's one of those things where in theory it was a good idea, but in practice it just did not work.
That happens a lot in this genre of television.
Because Americans are greedy, and it doesn't matter if we can split $500,000. Like, they want to take everything.
You know, another...
Did you say crank yankers?
No, wait,
crank yankers.
I said
Let's see. Take It Off. It's a Take It All. That's Friend or Foe ripoff. And there was another GSN show ripoff that NBC aired a year before that. It was called Who's Still Standing? And
Oh god, that was horrible.
I remember that.
That was one
By
of the
the
worst.
way,
I remember watching
Josh,
that.
For
At
the
the
record, I said for the record, Josh, I said Candy Crush.
Oh, okay. I thought you said. What did I think you said?
Crank
It
Yankers.
sounded like Crank Yaker. Where the hell did that come from? That's more random than Barry Gibb.
Wasn't that prank phone call show?
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with
Frank
anything?
Yankers?
That's like more random than Barry, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, Who's Still Standing? That was a train wreck of it. And I remember thinking that at the time.
Oh, I saw that show. It was not bad.
What? What you talking about, Jan?
It's kind of like Russian roulette, but it's like.
It was a
I was going to say that.
It was bad format.
Bad format. I don't even remember who the host was.
Ben Bailey from Cash Cab.
It's like Russian roulette, but it's like different.
Yeah,
Different.
Ben Bailey really didn't fit that. Again, there's a case of
It was not bad.
It was not-
Come on.
They cut him out and put that stupid narrator in. They had that stupid narrator going
it's like another.
there's only 4 left.
Yeah, it's another case of host did not fit show format.
Well, they didn't give him a chance because they cut out all of his stuff and put in his place this announcer guy going, oh, there's
That's
only
right.
4 contestants left. If Danny can beat them, then...
Ben Bailey could work as a game show host, but his best days as Cash Cab host are probably behind him.
Oh, he's still doing Cash Cab.
At least
Coming
he's
back.
good right now in Cash Cab.
Yeah, they're
I didn't think that was still on.
Oh, they're
It's coming
bringing it
back.
again.
Yeah, they're coming back to.
Nice. I heard they were going to do it in different cities, though, other than just New York.
Tonight on 4 Guys Talk
Probably
About
LA?
Cash
I
Cab.
don't know. Probably LA. I don't know.
Do
Yeah,
people
I heard
even-
New
wait,
York,
hold on.
LA, Boston, and Chicago.
Do people even use
Really?
cabs anymore?
Okay.
Don't they use Uber now?
Yes.
Like, why would you need a cab? You just use Uber.
Same thing.
It should be called Cash Uber.
They should make they should do that instead.
They
We're-
would probably need to have Uber actually sponsor it, though.
They would be fine with that, I'm sure.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
They need the money.
The Cash Uber doesn't sound right.
Cash Uber. Uber Cash.
Anyway.
Well, then you call it Uber Cash.
That's
There you go.
Uber Cat, good name. Okay, let's copyright this and make sure no one else steals the idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, enough Undivided. Good show, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about the next show I'm going to talk about. Also, just a little tidbit. I love Lingo, and that was a good GSN original. We talked about it.
And we will. Yeah, we will be.
Lovely,
I
yeah.
will be covering that one a little bit later. Spoiler.
Okay, my next show is going to be Chain Reaction. GSN brought it. They had 2 versions of it. I like the 2006 version better. It was hosted by a guy named Dylan Lane, who kind of fell off the face of the earth. He was okay, but Dylan, he's probably he's a multi-millionaire now, probably because of all the reruns of the show that GSN is showing. I don't know if they still rerun it. They probably do.
I don't think they do.
They don't? Okay. Well, they did for a long time, and it was canceled in 2007. The concept is pretty much the same as the original show in the 70s, but it changed except for the fact that it's only compound words, the whole chain, instead of random words.
Which-
And one of the most memorable word compounds on this version of the show was gamecock, and that's where they put that out there.
I've never heard that phrase before in my life.
Oh, it's
South
actually
And I'm a
Carolina.
linguist.
See, South Carolina mascot.
Gamecock. What was the sequel? What was the next line? What was
I
cock?
think
the
I
phrase?
don't know what it was.
I don't think we want to know.
I don't. I'll tell you.
Cock and bull? I don't know.
I think it was either bull or fight. It was fight, I think.
Cockfight. Yeah, cockfight.
That's more PG than what we were all thinking.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, but cockfighting right now is illegal.
You do realize I have to bleep every time we say cock in this thing when I edit
No,
it,
you
right?
don't. No, you don't. We're saying it depends on
It
context.
just
Yeah, it depends on context.
No,
If I say
it's
if I
a chicken. It's a rooster.
that we cannot say right
It's
now.
all
If I
about
say-
context.
We know what we're talking about.
yeah, if I say cockfight, if I say, hey, look at this, cock on my farm, it's perfectly okay. If I say, hey guys, take a look at my big, then I have to bleep that.
Well, censor that. Have you not watched South Park, guys? It's all about context.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back to what we're here for.
Yes.
Chain reaction.
Yeah,
Chain reaction.
2006 version, greater than symbol, 2015 version, leaving that there. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to Jan. Anyone else have any comments about chain reaction before we go? To
2 words. Lame reaction.
I liked it better than the Bill Cullen and Jeff Edwards versions because I thought it played easier.
Yeah, it's good. Wait. So let me get this straight. So I love the Nathan Lane version good.
Dylan Lane.
My
Dylan
guess-
Lane. Nathan Lane is the guy from
It's
Lion
like
King.
okay. to be honest, is there, but you know.
Okay. Now, Jan, talk about your next one.
Okay, so my next game show that I'm going to be talking about is Catch 21. Basically, this is a game show that is like definitely coming back, but it's originally came on GSN. It's hosted by Alfonso Roberto, who is now hosting his own videos, and I say it's a good game show there.
And you're missing the fact that it's a remake of Gambit.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad they got Alfonso Ribeiro work. I'm sure he needed the money.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't going to end up being Carlton again.
It's not unusual to sue someone for copyright infringement.
Yeah. So game goes like it's like blackjack.
Yeah, it's like
You have to go like 21, and that's how you go there. But usually they have to like answer some questions, and then of course the contestants who correctly can't freeze their hand no matter what, preventing the cards from happening there. And then the bonus round is kind of like definitely intense there, no matter what.
The grand prize on Catch 21, it was the random amount of $26,000.
Yep.
Yeah, $27. But in like some episodes in season 2, it's increased to 50,000.
51,000.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
I watched an episode of My Girlfriend's House. We broke up later that weekend. Anyway, sorry for the bring down. I'll cut that out in the final cut.
No, you can leave that there. That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, because people want to know about my sad love life.
Yes.
Yeah, so it first originated on GSN from July 21st, 2008 to July 1st, 2011. So nearly, it's like 3 years.
Yeah, it was on for a long time. And it was in reruns. It still is in reruns, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the coolest thing about Catch 21 is that in the bonus round, you could use like some power chips. I think it's like 3 of them.
It depends on how many like blackjacks you get or how many rounds you win.
Yeah, basically.
Catch 21's definitely one of the better GSN originals out there from this era. So.
Yeah.
And I wanted to correct him on something. He said the final prize was 50,000, and it was always 25. Actually.
No, sometimes they doubled it.
Like some episodes in season 2.
Yeah, sometimes it's doubled.
Yeah.
For the most part, I remember it being 25.
For the
That
most
was
part,
the
but
case.
sometimes.
1,000, not always.
Yeah. And like,
And something else, he said it was coming back. I haven't heard that.
I did. I heard it. I don't remember where I
yeah,
heard
like
it.
July 21st, 2019, Adweek reported that GSN would revive Catch 21, producing new episodes for the first in nearly a decade. So
Same host or
Will
different
Alphonse
host?
still be hosting it?
Probably
So
not.
if Alfonso could come back,
They
or
gotta at least keep Nikki.
She how old is she now? She's like in her 40s.
So she doesn't look it. That's enough.
Do you know that she doesn't look it? Have you been on her Facebook or Instagram?
Mickey,
Last time I saw Nikki Padilla, she looked about 25.
When was that?
You
Catch
can't-
20. They still run Catch 21 reruns.
That was over 10 years ago.
So,
That's
say
it.
20,
over
25,
years ago. Come on, dude.
35, not 40. Okay.
Tonight on Here Four Guys Bitch About Hotness of Game Show Models.
Now you will have to bleep that out, Josh.
No, bitching refers to the act of a thing. I wasn't saying it in the female vernacular.
Bitching about female models. Okay, we get it. They're beautiful. They look good, and they're always cute.
I'm still
Okay.
waiting for them to write the book about all the game show models that have come and gone. But I digress. Anyway,
Hello, right model.
All right, enough about Catch 21. Let's go to
Wait.
Rich, go. Unless you have
Wait,
more,
what?
Jan.
Oh no.
Okay, go, Rich.
While I think of the other show I was supposed to do, I'm going to lump a few more in here because I thought of some more just now.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll save lingo for later. I'm going to go with the other version of Chain Reaction, I guess, for a bit.
Okay.
That was
Go for it.
fun.
The Mike Catherwood version, which I believe is the superior version to Lame Reaction from 06, but that's a different story. Basically, it worked the same as the 06 version, except instead of 3 people to a team, I believe it was 2. And let's see, you had the bonus round change up, which was a good change. The bonus round, I believe they were still trying to get 7 words in a certain amount of time, but they gave them the letters. If I remember right, they filled in the letters and they had to guess the word.
And
They
what
give
was
you the
this
first
show?
and last. The Captain Wood chain reaction.
The later
Oh,
version.
okay. Okay, yeah, the later version.
They gave you the first and the last letter. You had to fill in the rest.
Oh, but that takes out the fun. That makes it too easy.
Kind of like how that one game on Supermarket Sweep does it, where they give you the last
It's kind of like Lingo.
and you have to
It's
guess.
kind of like Lingo. You have like 2 letters there.
I thought Lingo was only 1 letter.
They give you, well, in the bonus round, they give you 2.
Actually, for like the bonus round.
Yeah, but
The
there's a
bonus
clue.
round-
And that basically segues into Lingo. Lingo 2012, though, not Lingo 2001.
Are we going to talk about this train wreck? Go for it.
Yes, unfortunately, I
God bless you, Rich.
am. Really? First, the host, Bill Engvall. I'm sorry, but he's not a game show host.
Going from Chuck Woolery to Bill Engvall, it's like going from a Ferrari to a, it's like going from a Ferrari to a Ford Pinto.
That's like going from a Ferrari to a Fiat.
It's like going from a Ferrari to a Ford Pinto.
Anyway, basically, I think the gameplay was still the same as it always did.
Well, actually, the only thing different about the gameplay was that they made clues to all the words.
Which
Really?
spoils the fun.
Stupid clues.
And a lot of the words were dirty words that you couldn't say anywhere else. Which,
I'll have mine with...
That bugs me about game shows now, but that's a different rant. But,
Yeah, like the Captain Wood version is like the same thing, but they like eliminate the speed chains.
Yeah.
Let me think. What else was I going to cover? Winsanity, I guess I could briefly do.
Hold on, let me comment about Engvall Lingo.
Okay, go right ahead.
I thought it was okay. It was watchable. The Ruby version was a lot better, though. But most people don't like the Engvall version because it was oversexed.
Most people
Yes.
don't like the Engvall version because most people aren't stupid.
Yeah.
And let's see. On to... Shoot, what was I covering before I got interrupted?
You were going to say Winsanity.
Winsanity, yes. Okay. In fact, I'm going to add another one because I know it's another GSN original. 20Q will be thrown in here, too.
Okay.
It's the same basic thing. 20Q and Winsanity. Winsanity was the better show of the two. Basically, you had to match up. You had to guess trivia facts to win prizes. It was simple. But I love how they selected their players. They had these little beeping red watches on everybody.
Oh yeah, the Wind Watch. The Wind Watch to
if the
participate,
red
I think, would
light
be contested.
As if the wind watch stopped on you, you played. Basically, it was like Supermarket Sweep with. Ironically, that's on my TV now. It's like Supermarket Sweep when they would say, "Who's got the insert product here?" Okay, you're on during the intro.
Which, by the way, those they weren't randomly chosen. Like they knew ahead of time which products would be going. Like it wasn't random. The people knew.
It was for the sake of comparison. I'm saying it was similar.
Okay, the people knew they were being picked.
I don't think you knew it on Winsanity though, because everybody had it.
They definitely knew on Supermarket.
I like it a few times.
I liked Winsanity. I thought it lasted way less time than it should have. Donald Faison was one of the better comedian hosts that you could have gotten.
I thought it was Donald Faison.
It's Faison.
Okay.
Faison.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the announcer.
Wait, don't tell me.
I think her first name was Karen or something, if I have that right.
Kara Soltanovich.
What, who was it?
Kara Soltanovich. And I'm sorry if I butchered.
She did.
Actually, a really good first-time announcer. She was actually really good for what I call a first-time announcer. Somebody had no idea about it before the show even started.
I'm sure she had done announcing, just not on game shows.
Yeah, she was born in Ukraine, but she's an American comedian, writer, and actress.
Basically, Winsanity. Great show. Wish it had lasted longer, but it was basically Tic-Tac-Toe 90, where it was scuttled off to midnight slots pretty fast.
Yeah,
Agreed.
And Soltanovich was best known for her reality shows, such as girls behaving badly.
Hold on, John. You're reading this off of Wikipedia. We get it. Anyway.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, don't read the Wikipedia. That's cheating. I know all this stuff off the top of my head.
What was?
I'm just trying.
Come on, hold on.
Okay.
Order.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Order in the court.
Thank you.
Rich, go. Are we done?
What else was I lumping in?
You said you wanted to talk about 20Q, and hopefully that's
20Q.
20Q. I'm gonna make it brief. Kat Deely was not meant for this show. Let's see.
Was she on
Kat Deely was better on The Choice, to be honest.
Is she's Dancing with the Stars, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So what do you think you can dance?
You can dance.
There was one more that I wanted to do, but forget it.
We don't have time.
I don't even remember
well, we
what it
probably do
was.
have time, but I don't want to do it. Anyway, so next week on the Game Show Fans podcast, we'll be talking about and we look forward to that. The is where I insert what we're actually going to talk about because we don't know yet.
Okay.
Or maybe I won't do it. Maybe I'll just leave this in because we're lazy.
Yeah, just keep it a secret.
We have a threshold of quality. Anyway, and my new segment should be debuting soon.
That's right.
The segment where I go through every Takeshi's Castle game, which is totally not a ripoff of Jordan's segment from his show. Totally different segment.
Shout out to Jordan Haas, host of Game Shows, I suppose, by the way.
Anyway, so I guess this has been the Game Show Fans podcast. As always, I am your fearless leader, Josh McLeod.
I'm Danny Lewis, a.k.a. Game Show Fan 2001.
Oh, and I'm not Undercover Cop 327, by the way. That's my moniker.
Anyway.
He's Rich, he's Jan.
Wait. Okay.
Rich, are you not there?
Oh, I'm still here.
Rich, say your name so people know who you are.
This has been X Factor Gaming.
Okay, now Jan.
And then Jan Voker. Make sure you subscribe me with Jan Voker and my Crush Your Luck channel, my PYL.
And remember, it's hard to see the end when you're beginning. Oh, and it's time for the segment that ends our show. It's the segment where I go through every Takeshi's Castle game and talk about them in detail from alphabetical order to beginning. Also known as the segment that's totally not a ripoff of someone else's segment. Today we are talking about Combinations of Love. This game was called Roll the Dice in the UK and was never featured on MXC. The object of this game. This was a couples only game. It was played once in episode 36. And here are the rules. Couple is asked to decide whether they want to roll for an odd or even number. Both contestants then get into a giant pair of dice with their helmets sticking out of the top, forming the number ones, like the number one on a dice. The first contestant inside the dice is rolled down a slope into the play area. After they have stopped rolling at the bottom, their partner is pushed down from another slope on the right side. The numbers that have been rolled on the two dice are added together, and the total number must be the same as the number, odd or even, as the couple chose at the start of the game. If it is a match, say, for example, if they said it would be odd and the number they rolled is a 7, then they win and move on to the next game. If not, they are out of the game. The background for this game is from the video game Athena, from the track called World of Forest, which can be found on SNK Game Music Volume 1. We're going to play that now. This wasn't a very kind of maudlin game. It was sort of interesting that it was only played once, and obviously only played a couple specials, but never really went anywhere. It was just rolling giant dice. They could have played it with individuals on regular versions, just have two people play at the same time, but for whatever reason they never played it again. It looked pretty nice and big, but it was kind of boring at the end of the day because there was no real objective to it. There's no way to impede your action. You couldn't really move around to affect where the dice would land. So, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, it was really just a crapshoot. See what I did there?